Alright guys, how you doing? It's Rabea, hope you're all well. So this morning I put out a post on social media to say I want to do some Q&A videos. If you guys got any questions, please ask. And I got loads of questions, so thank you very much for that. I thought I'm going to start doing this maybe on a regular basis. I haven't got a name for it yet, but I'm thinking something like Ask the Fro or something along those lines. So if you have any suggestions, chuck them in the comments section below and I will pick one that suits best. And also, if you've got any questions you want me to answer, do the same, put them in the comments section and I'll get around to answering them. So I've got a handful today that I've picked off Facebook and Instagram, so I'll do my best to answer them for you guys. Okay, so the first question is from Sam Casely. I hope I said that right. You are at an advantage to the average player with having access to top quality pedals, amps and guitars. If you had to choose a simple rig using budget gear, e.g. Tone City, Moore, Laney, Bugera, Squire, Epiphone, could you recreate the same sounds you achieve with the expensive gear? I would say yes, I could create the same sounds, purely based on the fact that I haven't always had expensive gear. Before I got my sort of pedal board rig and guitars and amps and stuff, I was using a couple of Boss DD6 and 7, had a PH2, and that was all my effects. And I was running, before I had my JVM, I was running a AVT 150. I used to have a Les Paul Studio as well. There's this black one with a pearlescent pickguard, or the Washburn X50, which is £350 guitar. And I used all that stuff for a long time. You know, that was my main rig and I swore by it. It did such a good job. And I think that in terms of high fidelity tone, I'd say obviously, you know, when you start buying a boutique or like high quality gear, the quality of the tone does get better. But I did so much stuff on that rig and it was as inspirational then as my new stuff is now. It's how you grow with your gear, I guess. I would say yes, there is an advantage inherently in the fact that I work within the gear industry with a lot of my friends and stuff, but yeah, I'd say you can recreate great tones without needing to spend thousands of pounds on gear. Hopefully that answered your question. Next question is from Toby Woods, and he says, had you not had the injury that stopped you playing drums, do you think you would still have achieved the level of success that you have achieved on guitar? Do you think the YouTube drum world is as thriving as the guitar universe? I guess that's kind of two questions. Firstly, I think, yeah, had I have not damaged my knee, I'd still be drumming and I would have been gunning for that like I am for guitar. I love music, I love playing music, so drums was my first love and I would definitely still, if I wasn't playing guitar, I'd be playing drums and I'd be pushing myself as far as I can and getting as good as I possibly could. And playing in bands and writing cool drum parts and stuff. I guess I probably wouldn't be writing as many songs because I suppose there are drummers that write songs, but it comes mainly from a melodic instrument first and foremost, and drums sort of collaborate, like Sixth. You know, they write their rhythm and riffs together, like Dan Ford and they do all their stuff together. So there is truth in that, but I guess yeah, I'd be playing drums, and I would hope that I'd be pushing myself as far as I can, or at least in the same way I am with guitar. And I would say that the YouTube drum community is much smaller than the guitar because guitar is way more popular as an instrument generally. I ask any retailer how much drum gear they sell in comparison to guitar, and it's like uncomparable. And not to say that it's not still engaged, you know, like Ben is a great drummer, he has loads of wicked videos on YouTube. If you want to subscribe to Ben's channel, check out his content, I'll put the link in the description box below. But he does loads of videos and has an engaged community of drummers around him, and I'd say yeah, it's as fruitful as you make it. So it might not be as saturated, but it's still engaged, so hopefully that answered your question. Next question is from Leon D'Antonio, and he says, what is the best advice you can share, in brackets, that has worked for you, that you can help one master the guitar? Do you start off reading music, reading tabs, any books you can recommend that have helped? My advice is probably like many others in that, spend time just playing, just practice, like not practice as in this scale, that scale, at this BPM, etc. Just pick up the guitar and play. If something excites, the thing with practice is it can bore you. It's like going to the gym. You know, not everyone likes to go to the gym. Not everyone likes to pick up a guitar to practice. If you feel inspired, the last thing you want to do is run scales. You want to actually write a tune. So my best advice would be find an outlet that's really exciting with regards to playing guitar, whether that's learning your favourite song. For me, I'd listen to like an extreme song and go, I want to learn that, that's what I'm going to go and do. So I wouldn't practice, I'd go and listen to that song, rewind it and work out the parts and just keep doing it. And that, I guess, is practice in a way, because you're taking on board the techniques required to play that part of that song, so that in essence you're learning that technique to play it. So there are millions of ways to do it, but I would say that would be some good advice from me, is just do what excites you to start out with, because that's the hardest bit about progressing through the beginnings of playing an instrument, is getting over the fact that it's difficult and that you don't sound great and that you need to, overcome those things. So I would say find something exciting to push you forward. I don't think it's necessary to read music. I don't think it's necessary to read tab. I mean, I don't read music or tab. Well, I can read tab a little bit, but it's way slower than if I just listen to the record and work it out. I would always be an advocate of push yourself, push your ear. Don't, reading music's a completely different ball game. I would just say focus on finding the exciting elements of what it is about the instrument that makes you excited and wants to learn. Yeah, don't ignore things like notation and tablature, but if you need them or you want to learn something specific, then great. It's a good skill to have, but don't put all your eggs in one basket and focus on just that. Try and be as well-rounded as possible. Hopefully that was helpful. So the next question is from Chris Trupp, and he says, how much do you make from all your different jobs, and is music YouTube your full-time thing? I work for a few different people, so I am freelance in the sense that I work for myself, work from home, but I also do stuff with Andertons, like the Sounds Like stuff, and I do all the audio engineering and mixing for Robert Lee's demos. I also do stuff with Pete, Epic Deals, this, that and the other, and any other ad hoc work that comes in through Andertons. That applies as well to Musicism. When they want me to do extra video content, I'll go in and do that. For example, when a company gets in touch and says, we've got a product we want to promote, would you be interested in doing a video for it? Then of course, if I like the product, I will. And then that's another source of income. And then there's the YouTube, AdSense and all that kind of, the way that whole thing works, with your videos. I focused heavily on trying to earn a living out of doing things that way than putting it all on the bands to do that, because that's how you run yourselves into the ground. That's how bands don't succeed, is when they're just like, in one sense, of course, it makes you work harder, but in the other way, if you don't earn any money from your band and you've been doing it for years and years and years, it's just going to drag you down. So I was like, I don't want that from my bands. I want to feel like I'm doing it because I love it and want to and have fun with it. So I focused on earning a living out of the other areas, like, whether it be teaching or demoing or like working with Andertons or whatever it is, to sort of provide some level of income. It takes the pressure off the bands from having to do it. So I get to do it because I love it and enjoy it, which I think is a great way to do it. It's not for everyone, but the way it's worked out for me, I'm incredibly lucky to be in that position, but I'd consider myself to be fortunate enough to earn a living off doing what I love. I get to live with my girlfriend in Brighton, and so far so good. Next question is from Manny Caudry Cuberos. And I know Manny, me and Manny are good friends. I see him every now and again at gigs, but I thought this was a cool question. He said, what song in all your back catalogue was the hardest to write and why? I would say the hardest song to write so far has been one of the new Toska tunes called When Genghis Wakes. It took us the best part of 6 months to write this one song, and not because it's really complicated, it's just there was a lot of change happening around the time. We were in a small practice room we'd started to rent, it didn't work out, so we moved out of there back into a practice room. Everyone had lots of stuff happening. It kept getting picked up and then put down, picked up and put down. And for me, that's really stressful, because when a song gets written, it should be in a few chunks, because then you're still in that headspace and that vibe. So it was really difficult. And also, it was the first song Toska had written on baritone guitar and 5-string bass. So Dave was having a bit of a mare with the fact he was, he doesn't play 5-string. Only time he plays 5-string is when I play baritone. So he was effectively learning a new instrument, because it is that much different. Like, anyone tried to play a 7-string from 6 their whole life, it's really hard. So yeah, it was a battle, but I'm so glad it got finished. But that would definitely be the hardest song so far I've had to write. Okay, last question, and this is from Dane T91, and he says, Desert Island rig, 1 guitar, 1 amp, no Kemper, 4 pedals. It's a great question, and this is a great one to end my first Q&A on. So, my 1 guitar would probably be my ML1 Relic, because it's the most me guitar that I own at the moment. It's got tonal variations with the coil splits and the pickups, and you know, the way it looks and the way it feels, and like, it's a great guitar. I love it so much. I've grown to love it more than most of my others. So that would be the guitar. The amp would be, I want to say a Kraken, but it wouldn't be, because I would like a clean channel. So maybe if there's another Kraken out in the future, may have a clean channel, I don't know, it would be that. But at the moment, it would probably be something like the V130 or the JVM. Actually, no, not the JVM, because I only really like the one channel on the JVM. But it would be probably the V130 or a Friedman Brown Eye 100. Either one of those two probably. Or possibly the Rev Generator Mark II. And then for pedals, well, I'd have the Strymon Timeline, the Strymon Big Sky, the Strymon Mobius, and then I would have a fuzz. I would have... the pedals I own, it would probably be the Buffalo Effects Germanium Fuzz or the Thunderclaw. Either one of those. Probably the Thunderclaw. Anyway, that's my first ever Q&A episode. I hope it was good. I hope it was insightful in some way or another. And I think it's really fun to do. I like the fact that it's direct. You guys are asking questions and I get to answer them. And it's questions about anything. Not just applicable to me. It could be what I think of this or that or them or whatever, bands, guitars, gear, music, people, cars, I don't really care. Just ask me some cool questions and I'd be more than happy to answer them on a regular basis here on YouTube. So hopefully that was cool. Please ask more questions in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you all very soon.